You think you know the Lion King? You think you know the story of Mufasa? It's a tragic fall? What if I told you the version you saw was a lie? A carefully crafted narrative to hide a much darker, more twisted family secret. For years, we've believed Scar was the sole villain, the jealous brother who murdered the king to seize the throne. But what if he wasn't alone? What if the true mastermind behind Mufasa's death was someone we never suspected? Someone standing right there in the shadows, pulling the strings. Today, we're diving deep into the Pride Lands to uncover a shocking theory that will change everything you thought you knew about this Disney classic. What if it wasn't Scar who gave the final push, but his own mother, Uru, the former queen? Let's set the scene. The wildebeest stampede is thundering through the gorge. Mufasa, the heroic king, has just saved his son, Simba. He's clinging desperately to the cliff edge, his claws digging into the rock. He looks up and sees his brother, Scar, looming over him. We all remember the chilling line, "Long live the king," followed by Scar's claws digging into Mufasa's paws, sending him plummeting to his death. It's an iconic scene, a moment of pure betrayal that has defined Disney villainy for decades. But look closer, the camera angles, the shadows, the chaos of the stampede. It's all perfectly orchestrated to focus our attention on Scar. But what if that's the point? A masterclass in misdirection. To understand this theory, we need to go beyond the movie. We need to explore the lore of the Lion King, specifically from the book series, The Lion King. 6 new adventures. In these books, we are introduced to some key characters who are absent from the film. Most importantly, Mufasa and Scar's parents, King Ahadi and Queen Uru. And this is where the story gets really interesting. Ahadi, their father, was a strong and noble king. Much like Mufasa, he favored his older son, Mufasa, seeing him as the perfect heir to the throne. Mufasa was strong, charismatic, and born to rule. But what about Scar? Before he was Scar, his name was Taka. The name Taka in Swahili means dirt or trash. Think about that for a second. His own parents gave him a name that meant trash. From the very beginning, Taka was treated as the lesser son, the spare. The books paint a picture of a deeply fractured family. Hadi constantly belittled Taka, comparing him unfavorably to Mufasa. This constant neglect and emotional abuse planted the seeds of resentment that would later grow into the murderous rage we see in Scar. He was always in his brother's shadow, desperate for his father's approval but never receiving it. This is the classic Cain and Abel story, right? The jealous brother. But the family dynamic was more complex than just 2 brothers. Enter Queen Uru, their mother. The books describe her as a loving mother who tried to balance Ahadi's harshness. She often defended Taka and tried to show him the love his father withheld. She saw the good in him, the potential that Ahadi refused to acknowledge. The theory suggests her love for Taka twisted into a dangerous, obsessive protection. According to this theory, Uru grew to resent Mufasa, not because he was a bad son, but because his very existence was a source of Taka's suffering. Taka had nothing. His spirit was being crushed. She saw the kingdom's laws and her own husband's favoritism as the real villains. She wasn't just a passive observer. She was an active participant. He had lived his whole life as the weaker, less capable brother. This is where Uru steps in. She came up behind Taka, her presence a shock, adding her strength to his, and together, they pushed Mufasa off the cliff. In this version of events, Scar's line, "Long live the king," isn't just a declaration of his own ambition. Why would the movie hide this? Why pin it all on Scar? It complicates the narrative and blurs the lines between good and evil. By making Scar the lone killer, the film creates a straightforward tale of jealousy and betrayal. But if Uru was involved, it becomes a tragic story of a mother's love, curdling into a monstrous obsession. This also recontextualizes Scar's entire reign. He wasn't just a tyrant ruling for his own selfish gain. He was a puppet king, put on the throne by his mother. Perhaps Uru was the true power behind the throne, manipulating events from the shadows. This would explain why Scar's rule was so disastrous. He was never meant to be king. He was a pawn in his mother's game. He had the title, but maybe not the true authority or the vision to lead. He was simply fulfilling the role his mother had carved out for him. a role paid for with his brother's life. Think about Scar's interactions with his own mother, Sarabi's sister-in-law. After he becomes king, there's a deep-seated animosity there. When the food runs out, he confronts Sarabi, not just as a king to a subject, but with a personal venom. He is both arrogant and insecure, a king who seems to have no idea how to actually rule. He achieved his life's goal, but he's miserable. It's because the victory was never truly his. It was a tainted gift from his mother. And what happened to Uru after the coup? The movie never says. In the books, her fate is also ambiguous. This theory suggests she simply faded into the background, her dark secret safe. With Mufasa and Simba gone, and Taka on the throne, her mission was complete. She had saved her beloved son from a life of obscurity. The cost was everything, but in her twisted view, it was worth it. She won. This theory forces us to re-examine every scene. Scar's lament about his brute of a brother and his lack of a fair share suddenly sounds less. So, was Scar a monster born of jealousy? Or was he a puppet molded by a manipulative mother who saw murder as the only solution to her son's pain? The evidence is circumstantial, pieced together from forgotten books and subtle cinematic clues. But it paints a fascinating and chilling alternative to the story we all know and love. It transforms The Lion King from a simple story of good versus evil into a complex family tragedy, a dark saga where a mother's love becomes the most destructive force in the Pride Lands. The fall of Mufasa wasn't just one brother's betrayal. It was a family conspiracy. What do you think? Does this theory hold water? Or is it just a wild fan speculation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy diving into the dark side of your favorite childhood movies, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching.